The problem is right now, as we talked about, you have companies that simply are providing an IDX feed. And then they're taking home buyers and home sellers that come to their platform for free, right? They get their contact information for free because it's provided for free to them. And then they're turning around and monetizing it and selling it to real estate agents and making tons of money as a result off of that. And that's why I said, hey, since about 20 years ago, when we started having these IDX feeds that started getting shared on a national level, all these MLSs starting to, sharing their information, and then they all started getting conglomerated and getting purchased by these companies. And I said, hey, there's been nothing that's really changed in the real estate industry for that long. For the last 20 years, we are doing things the exact same way that we used to do them. And it's time for a change. And I think that on our end, with Rob and I, that, Swivel is that change. It opens the door to allow people to look at and say, hey, how am I going to have a relationship with my real estate agent? How is how as a real estate agent, how is our relationship going to be with our clients, our home buyers and home seller clients? And how do we benefit each other in a win-win situation, rather than turning around and giving those billions of dollars to a big tech firm that's being ran by a guy who has never actually, ran a loan or actually helped a client buy or sell a home on the street level. So how do they really know what we need?
So how does Swivel work?
Yeah, so Swivel works this way. So a home buyer, home seller will come onto our platform and they create what's called a client profile. So in that client profile, they declare what type of home they're looking to purchase or they're looking to sell. So like in the Seattle area, our average home price just hit $1 million. So they would come onto our profile and they'd say, hey, I'm looking to purchase a home, in the next 30 to 60 days, $1.2 to $1.3 million, 3+ bedrooms, 2,500 plus square feet. I'm looking to do this, and I'm pre-approved or I'm not pre-approved. Once that client profile is completed, it then goes active on our platform in our 5-day share experience or in our Instant Agent Connect experience. And what happens is agents who are members of Swivel are then able to log on. I would log on as an agent and say, hey, guess what? I cover the Seattle area. I want to see what type of buyers and sellers are available in that area that I could possibly represent. They're then able to see the client profiles that have been entered by the buyer or seller. And if it's a client profile of a client that they would like to be able to work with, they're then able to declare how much of the commission that they will share with that home buyer or home seller upon closing. So they're able to determine and say, hey, listen, in order to, represent someone who's purchasing a $2 million home, maybe I'm willing to share 30 or 40% of the commission with that client. Or if maybe someone's going to purchase a $400,000 or $500,000 home, maybe I'm only willing to share about 10, 11, 15%, whatever of the commission in order to secure them. At the end of the 5-day share experience or the Instant Agent Connect experience, the agent who has declared that they will share the largest percentage of the commission with the home buyer or home seller is then connected with the home buyer and home seller. They go off the platform and then they buy or sell their home, as you normally would throughout the process. And then at the closing table, the agreed upon commission, refund that or commission that has been agreed to share upon, being shared with the home buyer or home seller occurs at that point.
How's this going? How long has it been going?
So we just released our final beta version. Okay. So we are available nationwide. We talk about challenges. And one of the challenges, and I know Rob can get into it further too, but one of the challenges with all this is, there is something that goes on in the United States that most people don't really think about, but when you talk to them, they're like, okay, is information. Information is highly controlled, right? That's what Meta is all about. That's what, their control over Instagram is all about, et cetera.